Good morning, Akwaaba. Welcome to one and all on Sunday, the 18th of April. I checked in just on time, so I was a little bit late there. Welcome to D-Man afternoon. Great run this morning. B and Queen P. Got my headphones on. I think the sound's coming through okay. It's the first time you've joined in. My name is Mark, and we're going to go through a 45-minute session this morning. With a nice flow, with a focus on the back, we've done a couple times before. I'm going to try and hold some of the asanas this time around so we can really fit into the muscles, into the back. But let's get cracking. If you've got water, which I don't have, if you've got water, keep to one side. We're going to start in child's pose. So come onto the mat. So remember, during this class, at any point, do listen to your body. So come to this child's pose at any point during the practice. So your knees apart, feet together, and just bring your torso down in between your knees. Lay your arms in front of yourselves, flat on the mat. Just bring your forehead to the mat. If your forehead doesn't reach, feel free to use a block underneath your forehead. Just come into a nice, relaxed posture here. Just maintain your natural breath. So you're inhaling and exhaling, whether it be through the nose or the mouth. As you're breathing, just come into thought and think about going through a body rotation. So just feel different parts of your body on the mat here. And as you do, see if you've got any gripping or tension at any point. Are you gripping into the mat with your hands? If you are, just let them fan out. Are you hunching the shoulders? If you are, just again, as you exhale, release and soften into the shoulders. Are you gripping into the glutes? If you are, just relax and you'll see your hips just release close towards your heels. Now, start to come to your Ujjayi breathing. So Ujjayi is our inhale and exhale through the nose. As we inhale in, as we exhale out, just bring that restriction to the back of the throat. Keep your mouth closed and let the air leave your lungs and out through your nose. And just keep that breath going. Keep that Ujjayi breath going. If you've got your forehead on a block or a book, just move to one side. And then just roll forward and come into puppy pose. So we're going to come up with the bum. So the hips are now sitting above the knees. And then just start to walk your arms forward. So you're bringing the stretch through the front of the chest. And just squeezing the shoulders together. You start to bring your torso a bit close towards the mat. And again, just go towards that point where you can feel the stretch coming in. Maybe you want to bring your forehead to the mat here. Maybe you've got more room to just maneuver the arms a bit further forward. And if you've got a bit of openness, extra openness, maybe you can bring your chin to the chest, your chin to the floor, sorry. I'm going to hold it here for about 20 seconds. So you find your shoulder blades coming together here. Find this creates a nice stretch in the mid to upper back. Just hold it here for another 10 seconds. You want to take a variation. Then you might want to bring the hands up off the mat and just interlace your hands. So your elbows are on the floor, and then just start to move the bum back. So you start to feel actually a stretch into your triceps as well. We're holding here for another 5 breaths. With many of the postures we come into, the longer we can maintain a hold, you just start to see the muscles relaxing. And this is where you'll start to come into a deeper stretch. On the next breath, whichever variation you're in, just find yourself coming up into your tabletop. So you want to place the hands underneath the shoulder blades. Our hips are sitting above the knees. Our hands are now, knees are now shins, our hip distance apart. We're going to come into a few shoulder rolls, a few cat and cows. So on the inhale, we're going to take the belly down, take our tailbone up and the gaze up towards the front diagonal. And on the exhale, press our hands into the mat. Draw the belly in and take the gaze to the navel. As you create space in between the shoulder blades, really press your hands into the mat and let's reverse it out. Inhale to come up. Exhale to undulate back, create space in between the spine, in between the shoulder blades. Sorry. Let's go for one more. Inhale, take the belly down towards the mat. Take the gaze up towards the front diagonal. Really take your tailbone up towards the sky. And on the exhale, press your hands to the mat. The gaze goes towards the navel. I'm going to hold it here for count of 3. Really feel your hands pressing into the mat. Your arms are nicely lengthened out for count of 2. You can see if you can draw your navel any further in. On the count of 1. And let's release. Just soften into the shoulders and let's just come into a nice freestyle here. So maybe you want to take your hips through a figure of 8. You want to keep the undulation going through the back, so come into an unrestricted movement. There's no coordination. You just feed into your body. See if you can move with your breath. And then we're going to come into a stationary position. I'm going to turn and face the camera so you can see me. So just come sitting on the knees. On the inhale, draw the arms up towards the ceiling. Take the gaze up towards the fingers, lengthen out the arms. And on the exhale, bring the arms down and interlace the hands behind the lower back. Keep the hands interlaced. On the inhale, lengthen out the arms and shine the chest up towards the ceiling. Drawing the navel here. Don't forget to maintain your breath. So once you shine your chest up towards the sky, you're still breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, or if it's through the mouth, you've got blocked nose. On the next inhale, see if you can come any more to a slight back bend. And on the exhale, we're going to start to bring the torso down. So start to lean forward, bring the torso onto the thighs. And see if you can just lift your hands, still interlaced, up off your lower back. And just start to bring your arms forward. Just to a point again where you're feeding into the stretch. So here you're coming a bit more into the upper back. If you can find a bit more room, take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, feel your belly coming a bit close towards your thighs. And maybe got a little bit more room for the hands and the arms to come a bit further forward. So your forehead may or may not be reaching the floor here. Here for another 3 breaths. So really embrace the openness you're creating in your upper back here. On the next inhale, draw the navel in, gauge the core and start to bring yourself back up. And then shake out the arms either side of ourselves. Again, on the inhale, going to take the arms up towards the ceiling. And on exhale, start to bring the arms down so that right ankles in cactus position. And on the inhale, start to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Again, shining the chest up towards the sky. And just bringing a pinch in between the shoulder blades. You're drawing the shoulder blades together. Again, take the navel to the spine. So from here, don't feel as if you're just collapsing into your lower back. You're sitting nice and tall, engaging through your core and shining your chest up as you start to draw your elbows towards each other. And on exhale, release the arms back down. Now let's lift our arms up so they're either side and parallel to the floor. On the inhale, take them high to the sky. And on the exhale, just start to bring them down. Let's take the right arm behind the left arm. So keep coming all the way down. The right arm goes underneath the left. So the elbows stack underneath one another. We're coming into eagle arms. So if it's there for you, see if you can bring your right hand sit just inside of your left hand. And we're going to lift our shoulders. So lift our elbows up. So we're in line with our shoulders. So again, from here, we're creating an openness in the upper back. I'm going to keep it there for 5 breaths. If you're finding it a bit difficult to come into the hold, you can always take your left arm so it sits on top of your right arm, your right forearm. Again, just keep your elbows in line with the shoulders. Start to draw the arms forward. This should create openness in the upper back. Again, don't forget to breathe. No breath for no life. And let's release the arms back down. Let's take the other side. So again, take the arms up so they're parallel with the mat, with the floor. And on the inhale, the arms go up. And on the exhale, the arms start to come down. This time the left arm goes underneath the right. So again, we're coming to eagle arms. If you want to take the variation, this time the right arm is sitting on top of the left. Otherwise, we're in eagle arms. Again, try not to just collapse into the back, into the shoulders. Take the elbows so they're sitting up in line with the shoulders and start to draw the arms forward. This will create space in that upper back. So inhale, really try and lengthen up through the arms. And on the exhale, just find a little bit of softness. Let's take one more breath together. And on the exhale, release the arms back down. Shake out through the arms. Let's turn and face the front of the mat if we're not doing that already. Let's take the hands and press our hands into the mat. We're going to curl the toes under and come into our first downward facing dog, our inverted V. Start to lift the knees up off the mat. You might be a bit tight in the ankles, having been on our knees just now. So just walk out the legs. So walk out the left foot and the right foot. So stretch out the ankles and start to find engagement into our calf muscles. And we're going to come into stillness. And energetically, we're again just drawing our heels towards the mat. The heels don't have to reach. They may not reach. It's all good. Just bring that intention, which will help us to lengthen out through the legs. Press the hands into the mat. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. And just find a bit more space and lengthen the spine. On the inhale, let's come up high into the toes. And let's tiptoe the toes forward until we reach the front of the mat and come into our forward fold. So the arms, the head, the torso is all heavy. Let's just sway from side to side here. Go from one side to the next. Maybe take opposite hands, opposite elbows.
As we continue to sway, maybe again come into an interlace. So interlace the hands so they sit just above our lower back. Sitting there on the sacrum. On the inhale, let's come to a halfway lift, the hands behind just above the lower back. So we'll lengthen out through the torso, taking our gaze just in front of the front side of the mat. And on the exhale, as we start to bend forward, feel free to take a slight bend in the knees if you need to. As we're bending forward and lifting again, similar pose to how we started, we're lifting the arms up off the lower back, drawing the arms up and over the head. Again, we just go into your edge. Your hands might come up just a couple of inches off the lower back. Okay, we're just finding a bit of space in the upper back here. Yes, again, don't forget to breathe. So as mentioned at the start, we're going to try and hold some of these postures for a little longer than we normally do, just to help us find a bit more space and stretch and flexibility. Here for another 3 breaths. Maybe bend into that left knee slightly, lengthen out through the right leg and start to take the hands over towards the left side. Just take our gaze over towards the right wall, or you can stay wherever you are. Here for another 2 breaths. Let's just take the other side. So start to bend into that right knee a little, lengthen out through the left leg and take the hands over towards the right side of the room, taking our gaze over towards the left. Here for 1 more breath. Let's come back towards neutral, whichever variation you're in. Let's take the arms back towards the floor. And slowly, I'm going to wind up 1 vertebra at a time. As we come to standing at the top of our mat, our shoulders roll up last. Really roll the shoulders up towards the ears before drawing them back. And the head comes up last. So we stand at the top of our mat. Our feet are perhaps hip distance apart. Wait, bring your feet together. Space the hands forward into Tadasana as we just ground and center ourselves before we go through a few sun salutations just to warm up the body. So maybe close the eyes. Nice and tall, good body. Lengthen out through the neck. Have a great class. On the inhale, let's draw the arms up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, take the prayer, draw it through the chest. Let's bend from the hips as we come down. Maybe take a slight bend to the knees as we come down to a forward fold. Place the hands to the shins, lengthen out the arms. Just come to a halfway lift, roll the shoulders back. And on the exhale, place the hands in the front of the mat. So step back with the left foot and step back with the right foot as we find ourselves in our first high plank. We're not going to hold high plank for too long. So on the next inhale, let's roll forward into the toes. For the first one, let's all drop onto our knees, uncurl the toes. Let's start to bring our belly to the mat. We're going to press up into a cobra. So with the hands underneath your shoulders, just press. So bring your torso up into a cobra. Or if you're sufficiently warmed up in the upper back, you come straight up into an upper facing dog as you lengthen out through the arms. And on the exhale, press the hands into the mat, curl the toes under. As together we come into our downward facing dog. Let's take 1 breath in together. And exhale out. On the next inhale, let's come high on the toes and jump or step forwards. And let's all meet in our forward fold at the front of the mat. On the inhale, let's come into a halfway lift. So hands on the shins. Lengthen up through the arms. Create space in the back as we roll the shoulders back. And on the exhale, come back into our forward folds. Let the body be heavy. On the inhale, maybe bend into the knees as we start to bring the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Take the gaze up towards the sky. And on the exhale, let's take a prayer to our chest. We go again on the inhale. We go high with the prayer. And now exhale, bend from the hips. Maybe take a slight bend to the knees as you come all the way down for our forward fold. On the inhale, hands to the shins, lengthen out through the arms for a halfway lift. On the exhale, place the hands down at the front of the mat. Let's step our left foot back and our right to join our left. Yes, again, we will meet in our high plank. Once again, let's rock forwards with the toes or through the toes. Feel free to drop onto the knees, uncurl the toes, or come straight down to a low plank. Again, push up into a cobra, or for stare for you, we're going to come up into an upward facing dog. Let's tuck our elbows in towards the ribs so we're not collapsing into lower back. Let's really be mindful of our back today. And we're going to press our hands into the mat, curl the toes under. So once again, we all meet together in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale out. As we exhale, press the hands into the mat to create length in the spine. On the next inhale, we're high on the toes. We're going to jump or step forwards and all meet at the front of the mat. We're going to go for 2 more. So on an inhale, let's come to a halfway lift. Exhale to release. Inhale to go nice and tall. Exhale, let's take the prayer all the way through the chest and come straight down for our forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step the left foot back and the right foot to meet in high plank. On the inhale, we're going to rock forwards into toes. Again, feel free to drop the knees. Otherwise, on the exhale, let's come down for a low plank. Let's press through the toes on the inhale and come up for our upward facing dog. On the exhale, we're coming and once again meeting in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep inhale in and exhale out. Let's go for 1 more. So on inhale, come high on the toes. On the exhale, just jump or step forwards and meet at the front of the mat. On the inhale, let's take a halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to come up. So we're following the breath. Exhale to come all the way down. Bend from the hips as we come all the way down. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come down to hands. Step the left foot back and the right to join the left as we meet in our high plank. It's the last one, I think. In this sequence, on the inhale, let's rock forwards. Exhale, bend into the elbows for a low plank. Inhale to come up into our upward facing dog. Exhale, we're going to curl the toes under. And together, we're going to meet in our downward facing dog. That's good breathing there. So again, in the third and fourth sequence, we were really trying to be mindful of connecting our movement with our breath. Let's see if we can carry that on. As on the inhale, we're going to go high with the right leg, so it's parallel with the mat. On the exhale, draw the leg all the way through. And place the right foot inside of the right hand. At the front of the mat, just come onto the left heel, drop the left heel towards the mat. Once you feel nice and grounded, remember the left foot is pointing out towards 10 o'clock, right foot is pointing forwards. It starts to lift the torso up. With the torso and the arms, we find ourselves coming to our warrior 1. Let's take a deep inhale in and exhale out. Keep the breath going. Try and maintain that bend in that right knee. And again, you're pushing your weight through your back leg, through the back of the left foot. So you're not collapsing into that left knee. Feel nice and strong through that left leg. On the next inhale, again, nice and high with the torso. And exhale, let's take the right arm forwards and the left arm back. As together we meet in our warrior 2. Maybe making adjustments to your legs. Always tend to shuffle my right foot into center a little. So aiming to maintain that bend in that right knee. On the next breath, we're going to flip that right palm over and come up into warrior 1. Sorry, reverse warrior. For 1 breath. And on the exhale, we're going to come back into warrior 2. So right arm goes forward, left arm goes back. On the next breath, let's take our hands
interlace behind our lower back. We're going to find ourselves coming into humble warrior from here. So again, feel nice and grounded through the feet. On the inhale, lengthen out through the arms. And as you do, start to shine your chest out towards the ceiling into a small back bend. And on the exhale, we're bringing our torso through and sitting our torso just inside of our right knee or our right thigh. And again, maybe your arms lift off your lower back. See how much space you've got there to lift your arms up. Again, come into the upper back. We're holding here for another 3 breaths. So whilst we're holding, your legs are going to start talking to you. Probably your right leg, your right hamstring, your right hip flexor. And if you fall out or come out, feel free to come into child's pose or just come back into the pose. We're going to get ready to come up. So draw your navel towards your spine, engage the core on the inhale, float the arms back as you come up. And let's bring the arms back into warrior 2 arms. We're going to cartwheel our hands forward towards the front of the mat. Take the right foot back to join the left. And once again, we're going to meet in our high plank. We're going to go for a chaturanga. So on the inhale, rock falls into the toes. Again, if you want to drop your knees to the mat, take the modification. Let's bend into the elbows for a low plank. Let's press the hands to the mat and come up for an upward facing dog. And on the exhale, press the hands to the mat, curl the toes under. As together we all meet in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in together. And exhale out. Let's see if we can repeat that on the other side so we don't walk out of here wonky. So on the inhale, let's lift our left leg up so it's parallel with the mat. On the exhale, engage the core. So draw the navel to the spine as you start to take your knee through the body and however gracefully or ungracefully, you're going to place that left foot inside of the left hand at the front of the mat. I'm going to drop into the right heel. Once you feel grounded, together we're going to meet in our warriors 1. Warrior 1. Warriors 1. I start to take the torso up off the left thigh. You want to go square of the hips. So again, the hips are facing forward. The back leg, we're really focusing on pressing the weight through the outside of the back foot. So protecting that back knee. And we're all meeting in warrior 1 with our arms either side of our ears. On the next inhale, really lengthen up through the arms. And on the exhale, let's find ourselves all meeting together in warrior 2. So maybe if you need to, take adjustments to the legs. And the right arm goes back and the left arm goes forward. Just have a quick glance. See if your arms are floppy or if they're flopping. Just find your drishti point, your focal point, maybe at the front of the room. Again, engage with the navel. On our next breath, let's flip that left palm over. And on the inhale, let's all come into reverse warrior. Only for 1 breath, so our right hand goes to our right hip. And on the exhale, let's come back into warrior 2 arms. Let's take an interlace of our hands behind the lower back. As we prepare for our humble warrior on this side. So again, on the inhale, lengthen out through the arms and start to shine the chest up towards the ceiling. So we're not just dropping back into the lower back again, we're shining our chest up. And on the exhale, we're going to start to lean the body forward. At this time, we set our torso inside of our left thigh.
as we all meet in our humble warrior. Once again, we're here for 3 breaths to see if maybe you've got room to lift your interlaced hands above or off your lower back. Just see how much room you've got, how much space you've got to bring your arms forward. Again, just go towards your edge. I've seen people touch the floor here. This is definitely not one for me. So again, just listen to your body. Embrace any shakes or wobbles in the legs. If you, again, fall out or come out, feel free to come to child's pose or just jump straight back into this asana. Let's all get ready to come back up. So draw the navel to the spine. Engage the core as we take the arms back up on the inhale. As well as come back into warrior 2 arms. And then let's cartwheel the hands down towards the front of the mat. Let's step the left foot to join the right foot at the back of the mat. So once again, we meet in our high plank. We're going to walk forward to the toes. Again, feel free to drop onto the knees. Otherwise, come straight down to a low plank. Let's curl the toes under and push up to our upward facing dog. Remember to tuck the elbows into the ribs. And on the exhale, press the hands into the mat as we come up into our downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths. So let's give one another time to meet in down dog. Feel free to take a sip of water if it's there for you. Or just come into stillness. Remember to roll the shoulders away from the ears. Press the hands into the mat. Energetically draw your heels down. You take your tailbone a bit high towards the ceiling. On the next breath, let's just shuffle that left foot. So maybe it sits in the center of the mat at the back. Come high on the left toes. On the inhale, let's lift that right leg up. So again, once again, it's parallel with the mat. We're going to come into a low lunge. So I'm going to start to draw that knee all the way through and place the right sole of the foot at the front of the mat in the center, perhaps, or just right off center. Drop onto that left knee and uncurl the left toes. Once you feel nice and grounded here, let's start to lift the torso up off that right thigh. And on the inhale, let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. Again, feel as if someone's pulling you up from the arms. So you're nice and toward the torso. And we're once again going to take eagle arms, as we did at the beginning. So we're going to start to bring the arms down and take the right arm underneath the left arm. Take the interlace of the hands. And again, as we did at the beginning, let's just try and lift the elbows. So our elbows are in line with our shoulder blades. From here, we're going to come into a back bend. So again, rather than just dumping straight back, we're going up and back. So let the arms guide us. The arms go nice and tall. And you see you've got any room to bend the body a bit further forward. Come into a back bend from here. So let your gaze just follow your hands as opposed to your head just collapsing down. Just keep an element of control. You don't have to go too far back. So on the inhale, we'll lengthen. On the exhale, we might have a little bit more room to come to that back bend. On the inhale, let's come back up. Let's place our hands at the front of the mat. Uncurl the left toes. I'm going to jump that right foot to meet the left and the back of the mat. Let's take it through a vinyasa. So on the inhale, rock forwards onto the toes. Exhale, let's come down to a low plank, taking it through our chaturanga. So on the inhale, come up with our upward facing dog. And on the exhale, curl the toes under as we will meet in our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale out. Let's take the other side. So let's start by just shuffling that right foot, maybe a bit more into the center at the back of the mat. So come high on the right toes. And on the inhale, let's lift that left leg up this time. And on the exhale, take that left foot all the way through towards the front of the mat. So then just left of center. Let's drop into that right knee. Uncurl the right toes. Once you feel grounded, let's start to lift the torso up off the left thigh. So we find ourselves coming to a runner's lunge. And take opposite arms this time. So again, the arms go nice and high towards the ceiling. Someone's pulling us up towards the sky here. So we're toward the torso. And on the exhale, let's start to bring the arms down. This time it's left arm underneath right arm. Or left elbow underneath right elbow. As you come to eagle arms. Again, just take the inclination of the hands. Just aim to lift the elbows so that they're in line with the shoulder blades. Again, if you're not able to come into the inclination of the hands, feel free to place the right forearm on top of the left forearm. But again, keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. And on the inhale and exhale, just aiming to find a bit more space to come to that back bend. So an inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, we're going to start to lean the body forward and embrace the back bend. You're also giving yourself a cheeky workout here in your right hip flexor. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to come a bit further back. And on the next breath, let's bring the hands back towards the front of the mat. Let's curl the right toes under. We're going to jump that left foot to join the right at the back of the mat. As we meet in our high plank. Let's look forwards into the toes. Bend into the elbows for a low plank. Let's press up into an upward facing dog. And on the exhale, curl the toes under. Press the hands into the mat for a down facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Come high on the toes. And let's walk the feet towards the front of the mat. We're going to bend into the knees and come into the seated position. We're going to drop our bums, our heels. Just walk the body back. So sitting on our bums. Our legs are lengthened out in front of our bodies. Curl the toes in towards the face. On the inhale, let's sit up nice and tall. And simply on the exhale, going to just flop forward. Just let the body be heavy. We're not doing any holding here. Just let, again, gravity take control so your head is heavy. You're leaning your torso forward. Just come to a nice, easy, relaxed stretch. On the inhale, let's come back up. This time, let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, this time with a straight back, let's start to lean the torso forward. Maybe place your hands either side of your thighs for your grip, or if you've got the ability to grip either side of your shins or your calves, go for that. So all we're doing is going towards the edge. If you can lean forward, if you've got your toes are in touching distance, maybe place your hands either side of your feet. And again, we're trying to shine our chest forward as opposed to just dropping the head towards the knees. So aim to keep as much length as you can in the spine as you come into that forward bend. On the next breath, let's release out. So from here, we're going to come into reverse tabletop, which is one I don't think we've done before. Reverse tabletop is a nice stretch. I find that prepares us for a wheel. So let's place our hands just behind us, probably just 10 centimeters behind our buttocks, our bums. We're going to take our feet and place our feet flat on the mat with our knees pointed up towards the ceiling.
Maybe just shuffle the bum forwards. And on the next breath, we're going to see if we can start to lift our bum up off the mat. And just go to your edge. So keep lifting your bum. Feel as if someone's pulling your hips up towards the ceiling. So maybe your feet are stacked underneath your knees. Feel free to shuffle your feet forward. And we're shining our chest up towards the ceiling. Try and keep your chin to the chest here. So again, you're feeling as if your hips have been drawn up towards the sky. Really engage through your glutes, your buttocks, which also helps protect your lower back here. We have another 3 breaths. Another 2. Another 1. And let's start to bring the bum back down towards the mat. Once again, we meet up our legs just flat. Our toes are curled in towards our face. We're going to go for 1 more. So either take that variation, or if you have got wheel in your practice and you're sufficiently warmed up, feel free to come to wheel. I'm going to come into reverse tabletop. So again, the feet are flat on the mat. We're drawing our hips up towards the ceiling. And on the next breath, let's bring our bums back down. If you're on wheel, start to come out of wheel. Just shake out through the legs. Let's turn and face the front of our mats. We're going to come into locust pose just before we finish up. So come lying flat on the belly. With our legs pointed towards the back of the mat. Back of our feet on the mat. Let the arms be either side of ourselves at a right angle. On the inhale, let's start to lift up the toes, lift up the shins, and point the feet towards the back of the room. And on the exhale, bring them back down. Let's go again. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come down. Let's go for 1 more. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come back down towards the mat. Now you can take locust either with the arms at a right angle. So inhale to come up. Lift the chest and torso up, keeping the feet down this time. Create a pinch in between the shoulder blades. And let's come back down. Now you take 2 more of those. Alternatively, you can take another variation with the hands in interlace behind the lower back. So on the inhale, we're going to come up, lengthen up through the arms, roll the shoulders back, exhale to come down. And either variation, let's go for 1 more. Inhale to come up, and exhale to come down. And finally, let's go hands and feet together. So the inhale, take either arm variation. This time you're lifting your feet up together, putting the feet towards the back of the room. So you're balancing your midriff. We have another 3, another 2, another 1, and let's come back down. Let's place the hands underneath the shoulder blades. Come up into a cobra. Alternatively, press the hands into the mat. Let's come into upward facing dog. Maybe keep a slight bend into the elbows. Let's take a gaze over our left shoulder here. So you can draw your ankles towards center as opposed to flopping out. And let's take a gaze over the right shoulder. Let's curl into the toes and come into our down facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to lengthen out. Soften into the shoulders and draw your heels towards the mat. Let's step or walk, or step or jump towards the front of the mat. You can bend into the knees. Let's start to come down onto our bums. Lengthen out through the body. Bring our head towards the mat. The arms be either side. Just flop out through the feet. Maybe shine your chest up towards the ceiling or If you fancy it, placing one hand on the heart and your right hand on the belly. Just take your hands to a position of comfort as we come into Shavasana, our resting pose, just for a few breaths. Let's together take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Really release that energy. Release it each out of your breath. And for a few moments, let's just come into stillness. With your next breath, just bring movement to your feet, your toes, your fingers. Feel free to stay in Shavasana if you need it for a bit longer today. Otherwise, just draw the knees into the chest. Just massage out for the lower back by taking an interlace of the hands around the knees and just moving your knees clockwise and then anti-clockwise. Really feel you're giving some love into your lower back. Really feeling it in the sacrum. And then when you're ready, just rock up. Either come into sitting on the block or come to cross-legged or come into your knees. And turn it face to front. Just finish up. Let's just bring our hands into prayer. Just close your eyes and just give yourselves a pat on the back for, again, showing up for 45 minutes, maybe a bit over. Giving yourself time just to come into movement through the body, through the spine. Feel free to repeat any aspect of this during the week, especially if you're working from home or back in the office and just working at a laptop is just doing stuff to your upper body. We start off by bringing movement to our shoulders, our upper back, and then our lower back. So hopefully there's good variation there for you. Cool. Just blink your eyes open, and if your eyes were closed, then thank you. Again, a little bit over. I think I was gassing a little bit at the beginning, so sorry for that. Yeah, 10 years of hot work, Mr. Dean. That's some legacy music I've got on my chest. If you guys know the heat wave, London's heat wave. Proud to wear this t-shirt. But yeah, hope everyone enjoyed. 45 minutes done. Like I said, feel free to use any of those asanas, any of those postures over the course of the week. Back next week with a flow. Hopefully, again, the sun is shining. Be great once this is over to all meet somewhere in a park and just do it a bit more in the open air. But anyway, I'll keep the chat going for another few seconds. Hit me back with any feedback. Hit the like if you can, subscribe, and share the love. Remember, I think it's Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. This is obviously still free. Any donations are welcome to the charity. But have a great week, and thanks for rocking up. Afternoon to Story B and B. But yeah, have a great week, and I'll see you back on the mat next week. Ciao, take care.